You likely clicked on this video and immediately began wondering if it was the right choice. Maybe you're already calculating its length, debating whether to keep scrolling, or noticing that you're analyzing your own thought process in real time. Most people assume overthinking is just a nervous habit, like biting your nails. But that framing misses the reality of the experience, the exhaustion of replaying every social interaction you've had since 2009 on a continuous, involuntary loop. To understand why you can't just turn that loop off, we have to look at a specific circuit in your brain called the default mode network. This network springs to life the moment you stop focusing on the outside world. It is designed to scan the past, imagine future scenarios, and decode social cues the second your attention drops. Chronic overthinking is the result of this highly sophisticated brain network running at a constantly, exhaustingly loud volume. It is a neurological reality, not a personality flaw. The frustrating irony is that you keep thinking because some part of you believes that if you just apply enough mental pressure, you will eventually land on the solution that makes it okay. Psychologist Susan Nolan-Hoeksma identified a critical distinction here. On the left, we have productive reflection, where thoughts move toward a conclusion. On the right, we have rumination. Rumination is the act of rehearsing the problem over and over in slightly different costumes. You aren't solving the issue, you are simply digging a deeper groove in the center of the loop. This doesn't process the emotion, it preserves it like amber. Clinical research shows that staying inside this loop makes you significantly more likely to develop depression over time. The very intellectual tool you rely on to solve your emotional distress is actually the primary engine keeping that distress alive. Many overthinkers grew up in environments where uncertainty was dangerous. To stay safe, the brain learned to read the room and anticipate the moods of others with hypervigilance. In childhood, thinking 10 steps ahead was an adaptive and highly intelligent survival strategy. It was how you stayed okay. The problem is that this survival radar is now scanning for threats in harmless modern situations, like a slightly ambiguous facial expression in a meeting, and building an entire case file around it. Your brain cannot distinguish between a genuine physical threat and a social scenario you've over-indexed on. Either way, it floods your body with real cortisol. Your brain isn't broken. It is operating an incredibly effective defense system that simply forgot to update its definition of danger. Think about the last time you had to cancel plans. While most people spend 10 seconds on a text, an overthinker might spend 25 minutes drafting, deleting, and rewriting a single sentence. You aren't struggling to find the right words. You are running simulations on every possible way the recipient could misinterpret the message. This habit is actually a form of deep empathy at work, just without an off switch. It is an acute hyper-awareness of how other people might be feeling. This leads to a cruel double standard. You will spend an hour convincing a friend they are not a burden, and then lie awake for the rest of the night convincing yourself that you are one. Social overthinking weaponizes your deepest capacity for empathy against your own self-worth. This is why telling yourself to just stop worrying only makes the spiral worse. Actively trying to force the brain to stop thinking creates a mechanical rebound. Daniel Wegner's white bear experiment showed this. Telling participants to suppress thoughts of a white bear pushed the frequency line to 0, but when suppression lifted, the thought rebounded much harder, creating a debt paid back with interest. This debt makes stillness or sleep terrifying. Without the volume dial of external distraction, the backlog of thoughts floods in all at once. Trading overthinking as an enemy to be silenced guarantees it will return stronger, making the physiological state of relaxation a neurological impossibility. Overthinkers are actually incredibly decisive when it comes to trivial things they don't care about, like what to eat or which movie to watch. If you look at this chart, you'll see the noise isn't random. Overthinking maps exactly onto what you value, the relationships you protect, and who you want to be. Chasing a perfectly quiet mind is a trap. It only triggers another cycle of suppression debt and frustration. When a spiral starts, stop asking how to make it go away. Instead, ask what specific value this thought is trying to protect, and if that threat still exists today. The goal is not to eradicate your anxiety, but to recognize it as a misguided protector.
You are finally giving yourself the power to look at the thought, validate it, and decide how much of your life it actually gets to control.